All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Daniel Young. I'm the owner and founder of Adaptive Perspective LLC. I believe it's my purpose, my calling, to help you identify your dreams and help you reach your financial freedom destination and maintain it so that you can pass your wealth on to the next generation. If I seem distracted, it's because I'm filming this video in a classroom. So that wonderful background noise is a trash can rolling across the floor. But if I don't film this in class, it's just never going to happen. So you can grow wealth several ways. We've talked about that. For us, we're creating growing streams of income and then growing wealth from the streams. And one of those streams comes from investing into closed-end funds. So as I already said, this is an unedited video. It's all raw. So who knows what you'll hear in the background. I'll be using our financial strategy of using closed-end funds and instead of investing into single stocks, and we'll compare that to, say, maybe use that as a background structure as we evaluate other investment strategies. So the disclaimers: I'm not a financial advisor. I am a financial strategist. The information contained in the video is provided on an as-is basis and does not represent personalized investment advice. Information is from sources believed reliable, but no guarantee or warranty is made as to its accuracy. I may be invested in some of the closed-end funds recommended or reviewed in the video. And the transparency, if I show you the closed-end fund master, we are invested into all the funds colored in blue. Excuse me. I assume no liability for your use of the information contained herein and encourage viewers to educate themselves on the market, to consult with a licensed professional, and to know your goals before investing in anything. And though I encourage you to talk with a licensed professional to get their advice, quite honestly, because I have to say that, I also encourage you to not be afraid to walk your own path. So I don't speak like the herd. I walk in limited company, and sometimes I walk alone. I'm okay with that. So I'm going to break from the closed-end fund reviews, which I do need to film at least one of those. And I'm still going to do those, but they're not going to be live videos. I need to share that screen. And my current status on this platform doesn't allow me to share a screen in live mode. So pre-recorded videos, and they'll just get scheduled out. Today, I'm going to start reviewing more financial advice and all the financial advice floating around on the internet. So if you've been watching my videos, you know that I'm about and know what I'm about, purpose and methodology in our investment strategy, taking that knowledge and the continued growth of knowledge or wealth of knowledge. And that allows me an easier ability to sift through all the supposed knowledge floating around on the internet. So my goal in doing these videos is to not trash people. I'm going to use our lens to call out crap memes and bad advice, but I'm not going to outright trash people who put that information on the internet. I'm not out to slander anybody. I am interested in separating the good from the bad when it comes to financial advice, because none of us wants bad financial advice. We're going to start with this. It's not a meme. So my general goal in platforms is to keep my investment strategies separate. I talk about portfolio income on YouTube. Yeah, I talk about portfolio income on YouTube. And I talk about earned income and passive income on Facebook. And today I'm going to integrate pages because it's warranted. Yep, see, in class, there's the bell. So let's get into this. And that grate in the background is the cafeteria, because apparently they thought we were 2 periods ahead. Yeah. All right, so let's share screens. All right. So on my page, which if you want to actually find my page on Facebook, you'll note that I have tons of tabs open because I've been meaning to do this video for about a week. This is what you're looking for if you try to find me on Facebook. So if you search any of this, adaptive perspective, navigate your finances, you'll find this page. And it's got the same general banner as what you would see on YouTube. So this is back from March 10th, which was almost 2 months ago. And I'm talking about leverage. And the question from the previous post. So whatever I posted prior, it's my statement made it sound like diversification is a bad thing. Why is that? Warren Buffett says this, and this is all from a Kiyosaki and Donald Trump book called Why We Want You to Be Rich. And it's from Kiyosaki's section in that book, or I guess in that chapter. So Warren Buffett says this about diversification. Diversification is protection against ignorance. It, meaning diversification, makes very little sense if you know what you're doing. Kiyosaki says this, to me, diversification is a defensive posture. So I see very little offensive leverage in diversification. For most people, diversification is a good strategy only because it protects investors from themselves and from incompetent or unscrupulous advisors. There is very little leverage in this path, and leverage is the key to great wealth. The greatest lever we all possess is our mind. We use it, and we increase our ROI, our return on investment, with much less risk and less of your cash on hand. But leverage requires you to educate yourself and to effectively use the knowledge you acquire, which is wisdom. So diversification is really what Bilbo Baggins or what Tolkien writes in the Lord of the Rings series. Bilbo felt like he was scraped over way too much bread, or butter scraped over way too much bread. Meaning you've got this giant loaf of bread or the slice, you're taking this small amount of butter and trying to smear it across the whole thing. When we take our funds and we diversify them, we're negatively impacting us. And we do that because we're scared of what we're doing. So if it doesn't mean like you focus them into one single thing, because we invest in the closed-end funds that have more stocks inside those funds than just a single company. And I don't want to be invested into just one of those funds. I want targeted investment into specific funds. But the diversification is like you want to own all these different things because you want to spread out your risk. And the people who advise you to diversify are actually showing their own ignorance and their own fears. And it's hard for me to take their advice knowing that since they're saying diversify, that they're afraid, one, and two, they don't really know what to invest in. Right? If you were following somebody and they were going, I don't really know where to go, you really want to follow them. If that's your leader getting you out of an emergency and they're like, hey, there's 100 of us and 100 different pathways, we'll all just take we'll all take one. Or do you want somebody who says, we can eliminate a lot of this other stuff, here's the way out? You would go there. So diversification doesn't help you. It actually hurts you. And I say that because a lot of what's coming out right now, as we look at the market at large, are general investors going diversify because the market's so scattered. And that's not helpful. So knowing that, I need to give you some other background. So we have a self-managed portfolio on Webull. And we started with single companies. We've transitioned that into all closed-end funds. And on my initial login screen, there's a message board where I get targeted messages based upon the funds we're invested in. Meaning, we own 24 funds. I get messages related to those 24 funds. I don't get messages related to funds that I don't own. So when we started the account, I could read those updates without any impediment. Like I would click on it, it would take me to a link, I would read the information, no problem. At some point, the updates changed to updates from a company called Seeking Alpha, right? And I'm sure they have a mission statement somewhere, but in essence, they review market happenings and the content gets posted to Webull. And I'm sure there was a contract made somewhere. It doesn't seem like it's a internal service of Webull's. It seems like they've contracted with somebody else, because at some point later, the updates generated by Seeking Alpha on the companies I own became inaccessible. Like I needed a paid membership, or I needed a membership to Seeking Alpha in order to view them. So if it was a function of Webull, then my account with Webull would let me view the updates, but it's not. So I signed up for a free membership, which was recommended by Seeking Alpha to gain access to all these stories. And then that quickly went away and became an option for a $5 a month membership. Now, that $5 isn't expensive. It's less than a cup of coffee. But I don't want to pay for their advice. The free content I still receive is mostly informative without bias. But I'm not paying for their deeper content, as their advice isn't always a good fit for us, or especially isn't a good fit for us. We have different views on strategy, which means we also differ on how we see the market and the Fed's role in the greater economy. So let's look at this post from last week's. Go back to share a screen. Now, this is what I mean about slander and defamation and all that stuff. My goal is not to my goal is not to slander anybody. But what I want you to pay attention to is this. So as we read this summary from this guy, who I don't know, who works with Seeking Alpha, we see the 3 bullets, and he says some other stuff. And his advice is to, let's see, so it's hard to say when fear has hit its peak, when the shunned asset has hit bottom. So you're unlikely to pick the exact bottom. So be patient, do your research, right? So since none of us can truly time the market, a dollar cost average approach works. Like you're buying shares as they go up and down. That's dollar cost averaging, right? Nobody can truly pick the bottom. So if you know what you want to invest in, dollar cost averaging, that makes sense. Be patient, that makes sense. Don't do anything out of fear. Don't do anything in a rush. Do your research, that makes sense. But then he says diversify, diversify, diversify. That grabs my attention more than the rest, because back over here, right, when an expert or analyst or pundit is saying you need to diversify, that tells me they don't really know what they're doing. Now, they could have a ton of knowledge. They could have a wealth of knowledge. They could be really good. They can be really well known. But as soon as they utter diversify, 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 that's spreading out your money. That's not helping you. That's hurting you. Yeah, that's hurting you. So as most people market single investments, like Warren Buffett is related but not related to this. Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway is invested into a lot of other targeted investments. It's one company invested into a swath of things. Warren Buffett does not. So Warren Buffett's company, Berkshire Hathaway, does not pay a dividend. Instead, they prefer to take the money they gain and reinvest it into the company in hopes that the stock price continues to go up, but you get no reward for owning the company. So what we like to do, and I'll show you on this page. And to make sure it's accurate, we'll just refresh the page. This is the USA Fund, or the Liberty All-Star Equity Fund. And closed-end funds you can buy at a discount, so you can buy them for less than they're worth. This one, you get paid quarterly. It's currently over a 10% annual yield. Occasionally, they will pay special dividends or hidden dividends. USA did that a little bit, but it's curtailed that. It's pretty. I mean, yes, the dividend fluctuates. Currently, it's been at 0.15. You can look at the pricing information over time. All right, and see on average. So over a 5-year average, it's been at negative 1.5, we'll call it. So instead of paying $1, you've paid 98.5 cents. Lately, it's been at a premium or for selling more than it's worth. And then you can go and see what they're invested in. So I can get single companies, Microsoft, Visa, United Health, Charles Schwab, Google, Amazon, Bookings, Adobe, S&P Global, and Dollar General. You can invest in all of these individually. Some pay dividends, some paid nothing. And instead of being controlled by the waves of Microsoft's value, and yes, I'm not controlled, but there's a wave of this portfolio's value, but all the while they still paid 15 cents a share versus Microsoft, which I don't think pays a dividend. And if they do, it's extremely small. But if you wanted to see more of what USA held, which we own USA, I'll be forthcoming, we own USA. You could go to White Charts and you can see the top 25 of what they own. And once you own the fund, they'll send you quarterly updates and you'll see everything they own. Which I'm not going to show you everything they own. I guess I could. I can show you a couple of pages of what they own. But look, Berkshire Hathaway. So we could buy Berkshire Hathaway individually for a decent price and never get a dividend, or buy into a closed-end fund that owns Berkshire Hathaway and all these other things that are targeted specific investments and get a better dividend, which getting a 10% dividend off getting no dividend is huge. Let's see, if we go to see what the Berkshire Hathaway ticker is. Now let's go to the online investor. This is where I get all my comparisons. I enter the symbol. Click the chart. Hold on a second. What? 31. 931. Yeah, so Berkshire Hathaway, it opened at this. Right? That's crazy. pays no yield, or it pays no dividend. But you can come over here and pay under $6 a share and get a 10% dividend. And this fund is invested into Berkshire Hathaway, as well as all of these other funds. So I can put the, not risk, but I can put the risk of diversity on the USA fund, and I can buy the single fund and then have access to all of these other companies, pay a really cheap amount, like pay $6 less than $6 a share, get a 10% dividend, and then have access to all of this other stuff. That's huge. So that when we diversify, it's not diversify. It's targeted investments based on long-term growth and long-term gains. It's not like, hey, this stock will go up $10, we think, in a week. It's not that. It's targeted based on long-term values. Yeah, and I can say more, but I think I've said enough. I can keep going. I can talk closed-end funds till the cows come home. So hopefully this makes sense. Hopefully this helps you understand our strategy. Hopefully this helps you better acquaint or maybe better orient yourself to your own strategy. If you like the content thus far, if you've seen some of my other videos, please consider subscribing to my channel. And then also head over to Facebook and join my group there called Navigate Your Finances. And that link is in my information. As you go down your journey, remember you're the captain of your ship. You have the power to change your life and your financial future. Many people will offer to help you, but only you can make the choice to do it. Make it happen. Shock your world. This is Daniel Young signing off. I will see you on the next video. Have a great day. Bye-bye.